Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of Faith and Society. We're very happy that you can join us. Once again, we have our respected speakers and clergy members of the community with Pastor Stanley Murray and Imam Muhammad Musri from the Christian community and the Muslim community, respectively. So today, we're going to continue our dialogue on the issues that are plaguing our society and really getting a perspective from the faith community about how they see not only the state of the issues, but what does their faith say about resolving such ailments. So today's discussion is going to be related to why do bad things happen to good people? A very interesting topic that many people ask, throughout human history. And it's really important to get the faith perspective. So once again, we'll start with Pastor Stanley Murray. Welcome, Pastor, once again.
Welcome. Thank you once again for being here. It's exciting once again to be with my brother, the great Imam Muhammad. I love his favor of God using him in the community, and I pray that we continue to do awesome things together in both of our favorite religions.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be with you, and I look forward to many meetings where we discuss these issues that affect all of us in society and see how our faith play a role in addressing these issues.
Very good. So, Pastor, if you can start us off, the question is, why do bad things happen to good people?
Well, once again, we're back to the concept of, where our faith lies, even to those who have not yet found their, if you want to say, specific faith of where they draw their energy from, their spirituality from. We all still go through things, whether you're a believer or not a believer, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Jew, whether you're a Christian. We all go through similar natural things that happen in the world. It reminds me of a clear cut in the Bible when it talks about a young man by the name of Daniel who just wanted to pray. And because he was under the oppression of another country, he felt that he would not change his faith. He would still continue to pray. And so he had people that worked with him, who worked around him, who went behind his back as to get him in trouble because of his faith. And so you say, well, that's a good person. He's doing a good thing. Who is he hurting? But we're finding in this time and in this season how important it is to know where your faith lies, where it draws from, and what do you do to increase it for those times that are going to come. Those things are not going to just not happen because you're a believer or not a believer. I'm a firm person that says, we all will go through something. We just don't have to go through it by ourselves. And so I encourage each and every one, regardless of what your faith might be, that you tie into it on a regular basis and put it to practice. Not just be one that goes to a particular service 1 or 2 days in the week, but actually throughout the week in your prayer and in your faith and in your communion with others of like-mindedness, you begin to intermingle and speak and learn what God's role is for you specifically, because you're going to have a specific problem that's going to affect you directly. And that's when people usually, they get concerned. If something happens down the street, people really don't worry about it. But when it happens in their own yard is when they begin to have an awareness, so to speak. So my goal would be to increase that faith now for the times that are going to come.
All right. Thank you for that introduction. Imam Musri, your perspective?
Well, first, what do we mean by bad things? It depends on your perspective. It depends on the time perspective when you look at it. Often some bad things at this time, when we look at it in the future, we see it as good things. If it didn't happen, we would not have taken a turn in our lives to do something better. So everything we term as negative is not necessarily negative. We have a cultural definition for what is bad, but a lot of things that we consider are bad in reality, they are good. God uses them to steer us in the right direction in order for us to grow, to develop our knowledge and understanding, and become better human beings. There are so many examples of wonderful people, regardless of their faith, who, because of adversity and because of challenges in their lives, they became great. Um, there's the other understanding from the Islamic perspective is uh, life is a test. In other words, this is not a panacea where we're going to have everything the way we want, everything is perfect. No, life is meant by God to test us. And he declares so in like Surah Al-Ankabut in the Quran. He said, did the people think that they will claim to say they believe and we would not test them? We have surely tested those who were before them, and we will test them too. So God is going to test your faith, especially if you claim you have faith. You're going to be tested even more to see if this is just a claim or you really mean it. So when you go through something that you feel like this is difficult, life shouldn't be this way, life is meant to be a series of tests that make you a better person and helps you grow in your faith and dependence on God. And that makes you go to scripture to seek guidance and to see how the people before you, when they were faced with similar tests, what did they do? It could be, when you get sick, it could be when you lose a loved one. You always find answers that make you mature and become a better person.
Now, as we're recording this, we're still dealing with the pandemic of COVID and the coronavirus. So how does your respected faiths interpret from a faith perspective, once again, what is actually happening? Because obviously every state of society, whether it's politics, medicine, economics, has been impacted and has really publicized their view and oversight and also anticipation of what the future holds. But what can you guys say from a faith perspective about the impact of COVID and why did COVID even happen? Pastor, if you want to start with that.
Yes, and I mean, and the Bible tells us, that there's nothing new under the sun. It has not happened before in some form or fashion. It's only a repeatance of a new event, just a new name of whatever that event may be or that situation may be. But as I look back at a particular book in the Bible, in Romans 12, it talks about that to be not conformed to this world, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good and what is acceptable, and what is perfect, the will of God. And so when you see the situations that come about, that's where all of your relationships that you had in the past, all of your Bible studies, all of your services you've attended, all of the things you've done, you're praying, you're praising, you're worshiping toward God. That's where all that comes in when, not if, but when these things occur. If it was not the pandemic, it could have been a financial situation. We saw that in 2008 when the crash came. If not that, it could have been something else of another nature, war overseas that's now transitioning back to the States. So there's nothing really that happens presently that hasn't happened sometime in the past. It was just maybe a different version of it. We know about this, the flus and the things that occurred back in the 1900s. So there's nothing really different. The only difference is now is what kind of faith person are you compared to maybe your grandmother or your great-grandmother or your grandfather or your great-grandfather to now? How do you really base what you've learned? How much do you put to practice? We're in a world now where we're accessible to so much information. And I say that, the good thing is there's access to information. The bad thing is there's access to information. So access to this information without a good tutelage, as the Bible we read says, getting godly counsel, you just have information. And we know that knowledge is power, right? But what is untapped knowledge? What is uncensored knowledge? Is it still not power? maybe not the power you would like. And so we have to, especially with our young people, our young adults, how indulged they are now. They are so much knowledgeable than we were as young adults and young kids. The question is, are they teachable? Are they willing to learn, even though they are able to go and Google whatever they would like to Google and bring it up? Because they have this unbeknownst belief that everything on the internet is true. There's no lies. It is all written upright in spirit and truth. But we also know that there are a lot of blog pages and these things that come out. So for me, what I would like to encourage all of our people who are listening tonight is that personal relationship with God, of knowing that I can see what happens in the world, but I don't necessarily have to follow everything that goes on in the world when I have a different set of beliefs that hold me accountable, responsible, and reliable to how I live, how I speak, and how I act with others.
Well, the question really is it the working of our hands, when something happens that we don't like and we call it evil, we call it a bad thing, we have to question ourselves, are we the cause? And if we are, we need to change. We have to take responsibility. Often with wars, man-made wars, we can take steps towards peace and towards brotherhood and reconciliation and end these wars. And if we go by the golden rule of loving for others what we love for ourselves, of freedom, of justice and peace, then we can reduce wars and stop that evil. But with the pandemic, it is harder to say, is it because of actions we are doing that caused the pandemic to spread and to take so many innocent lives? Well, our interaction with nature over millennia has, we have been encroaching on nature, and we have been getting closer and closer to territories we are not kind of supposed to. So when the virus started in China, a lot of people questioned, how did it, jump from bats to humans, or was it a leak from a lab? Or so scientists tell us there are so many viruses out there, hundreds of forms of corona out there, and it is very likely at some point that these things will jump from, the animal kingdom to the humans, and we will get sick. And we have learned from a century ago, from the flu pandemic, how to try to control pandemics and how to develop vaccines. And in a remarkable, short time, scientists and medical professionals were able to develop a vaccine, an effective vaccine. And luckily, we didn't lose as many people as we did, a century ago with the flu pandemic. But now comes the question, those people who, believe in conspiracies and feel they don't trust the science and they don't want to take the vaccine, and then they get, sick, or their loved ones get sick. That's when we say there's a human intervention now, a decision to take it or not to take it, and the consequences. If our president, our leaders, our scientists are doing their best to provide us a vaccine and it's free of charge, it takes from us at least to take that step to protect ourselves and others. So if, I heard today of someone who didn't take the vaccine and traveled abroad and he passed away because of, a corona infection. And I said, this is a choice we make. And unfortunately, bad things do happen to good people because, as the pastor rightly said, we believe everything on the internet, and including the conspiracies that are not true. So we have a trust. God trusted us with the mind to seek knowledge, to seek the facts, to ask the professionals, the experts, and then to make a wise and good decision in order to reduce the possibilities of bad things happening to good people.
All right, well, thank you very much. This is all the time we have, unfortunately. We will probably continue this conversation in another episode, but thank you very much for the knowledge and the wisdom that you have shared with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So everyone, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episodes. And don't forget to subscribe to the United We Stand for Peace channel, where you can learn more about other interfaith dialogues from the past. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode on faith and society. Stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.